Welcome to the sixth and last in a series of interviews with noted scholars on the We the People, the Citizen, and the Constitution text of the Center for Civic Education. I'm Greg Bernstein, Senior Consultant to the Center for Civic Education, and I've been your host for this series. Today we'll look at Unit 6 of the text, which focuses on the question, what challenges might face American constitutional democracy in the 21st century? Our guest scholar is Professor Jasmine Ferrier from the Department of Political Science at the University of Louisville in Kentucky. Her current courses and research span all three branches of the U.S. government. Professor Ferrier, thank you for being with us.
Thank you for having me.
So we'll start with Lesson 33, which asks, what does it mean to be a citizen? So let me ask you, what did the founders think about citizenship?
Citizenship is a state of mind as much as it is a series of legal rights and obligations. So they had different theories about what it meant to behave as a citizen, separately from whether or not they were going to codify citizenship through the Constitution or the laws of the states or the Congress.
Well, let me ask you, how has natural rights philosophy and classical republicanism influenced American ideas about the rights and responsibilities of citizens?
So, as you said, citizenship has both a rights and a responsibilities portion. And classical republicanism is very different from natural rights. They both look at the universe very differently when it comes to the balance between an individual and their community. They also look at the reason for having government in the first place very differently. So, for example, a natural rights philosophy is sometimes thought of as negative liberty. We have government to protect our natural rights, but those rights are usually defined against the government. In other words, protection from the government is negative liberty. So a natural rights philosophy believes that the government is necessary to protect our rights, but at the same time, we have to be able to balance our own personal freedoms against the governmental obligations. Classical republicanism, though, looks at the government in a much more positive liberty light. Positive liberty, then, is that an individual is better suited to a community where they can fulfill their obligations to the whole. In other words, the purpose of government is much more positive, and an individual is more fulfilled at a personal level by being connected to the community.
How might living in small, self-contained communities, obviously as existed during the colonial era, have fostered adherence to the ideals of classical republicanism?
Well, classical republicanism views a community of alike people with common morality and conceptions of virtue. So alikeness is really the key. If you're in a community where your neighbors are very much like you, it'll be very easy to govern and easy to associate. But that likeness or sameness is actually very different from other types of founding philosophies. As we learned in an earlier unit, the concept of factions is actually closer to the constitutional philosophy of the framers. And factions are based on difference. In other words, the Constitution is created in part to take advantage of the fact that people are not alike, and that those differences will foster deliberation and representation.